This story will have you spitting your beer out. The popular lager brand Bud Light, the perfect accompaniment to long, hot summer afternoons, and your best friend at a boring family barbecue, has left a bad taste in the mouth of its customers. After employing the services of a biological male called Dylan Mulvaney, who plays at being a lady and identifies as female, she's been hired for a massive advertising campaign. So who is Dylan Mulvaney? Well, think of David Walliams' I'm a Lady character from Little Britain, but without the sex appeal. Bud Lights are now crying into their beer as sales of their iconic lager have collapsed faster than one of their customers when they've had too many. If you want to change your name and be he or she, then good luck to you. I am Mr. Freedom. But don't insult actual women with the pathetic and insulting theatrics as demonstrated by Mulvaney over the last few months, as she plays at being a woman and therefore wildly trivialises them. Here she is in action. Now, she's talking about her products. Of course, she's clad in lots of jewellery and tons of makeup, and it has rather sunk the value of their brand. There you go, bit of gymnastics, sportswear, brilliant stuff. She's also been messing around with a tampon, which apparently is hilarious. Well, I'll tell her where she can put that tampon. Women are being cancelled. They're being shut down, they're being erased, and with these sorts of antics, they're being laughed at as well. Do you really think that wearing a pair of high heels or brandishing a tampon is what makes for a woman? When will this madness end? Well, when corporations like Budweiser feel the impact on their bottom line, in this case to the tune of several $1 billion. Because be clear, by signing up to this particularly bonkers strain of progressive politics, i.e. gender ideology, which says that a man is a woman or a woman is a man, or claims there could be 100 genders, well, Budweiser, they're not trying to make the world a better place. They're making it a worse place for actual women. And they're masquerading as being inclusive, all whilst happily excluding half the population. Women are now second-class citizens. Someone with a cock and balls and sporting a 5 o'clock shadow but wearing a dress enjoys higher status in today's dystopian, morally vacant world. Most right-thinking people push back on this crap, which is why they've stopped drinking Bud Lights and are sick of these companies drinking the woke Kool-Aid. Meanwhile, you've got that prize numpty Daniel Radcliffe, star of Harry Potter, who would be flipping burgers at McDonald's on a tenner an hour if it wasn't for J.K. Rowling, saying that children should be allowed to choose their gender. What a deeply irresponsible thing to say. The treatment of children around this trans madness raises profound safeguarding issues and will, in time, I fear, amount to a Jimmy Savile situation times 100, as young children and teenagers are coaxed, brainwashed and cajoled into the idea that they were born in the wrong body and thus placed on a path of life-changing medication, including puberty blockers, drugs which literally stop the body going into puberty. Does that end well? Not to mention drastic operations, including breast removal and sexual organ reassignment that could ultimately see them unable to have children. This is progress, is it? To make matters worse, Mulvaney is also the face of Nike. The products that she sells? Well, sports bras. That's right, folks. A biological male, fully intact, handed a massive contract to sell underwear to women. Peak 2023. But there's now a chink in the woke armour, and that is the Bud Light story. It's hopefully a turning point, as this virtue signalling company will now have to chuck thousands of litres of their pissy beer down the drain, and hopefully with it, their divisive and damaging ideas. Whether it's Nike, Bud Light or anyone else for that matter, it's time to hit these corporations where it hurts, in the balls. That's assuming they've still got some. Let's get reaction now from one of the most successful corporate executives of her generation, Jennifer Say, a former national athletics champion who was one of the senior figures at Levi's, was tipped to take over as CEO of one of the most famous clothing brands in the world. What went wrong? Well, just a few innocent tweets early in the pandemic, questioning the need for school closures and the masking of children. Astonishingly, although her objections to COVID measures were hardly controversial, this sorry drama ended in Jennifer's departure from Levi's. However, it has led to a best-selling book, Levi's Unbuttoned. The woke mob took my job but gave me my voice.